South Ocean out with numbers this morning. The group owns Radiant Lighting and also South Ocean Electrical Wire. For the 6 months to June, revenue rose 22% to 550 million rand, while profit was up 245% to just over 25 million rand. Headline earnings per share grew 87% to 15.9 cents. Joining me with more is CEO Koos Bekker. Koos, thanks very much for coming. And a stock turnaround from last year. And yet you say in the commentary that although you saw a slight recovery towards the end of the period, conditions are still very challenging in the market for you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. We found that the good conditions during this period was still tough for us, very much competitive, difficult for pricing. So the conditions were not as we expected. So it was very tough this 6 months.
Of course, you had some things playing in your favour, like a better rand copper price. And of course, we've seen copper prices in dollar terms going up quite strongly. Rand terms, though, we've seen that rand strengthening, and that must be a bit of a headwind for you going forward.
Yes, you can see the copper price decrease the last 2 months from May and June, and that has affected us slightly. But overall, on the copper side, we were still very lucky that we are producing, we're selling everything we produce. So our copper market is still very good at the moment. The copper side delivered the biggest portion of the results, and Radiant is the same as the previous period. So there was not much improvement in the Radiant side, but on the cable side there was a vast improvement.
How are you seeing your customers at the moment? How are they faring? Are they recovering from the recession of last year?
Yeah, I think they're still recovering from the recession. The economy hasn't improved as we expected, and we hope for the next 6 months the economy will start improving, because we need the construction and the building industry to improve, and that will help us. At the moment, the copper price helped us during the first 6 months of the year, and that has increased our revenues, and also that's also a positive effect on our margins.
And of course, you said growing revenue is coming from the wire business, but not from Radiance. Of course, revenue up just 1.3%, operating profit down 28%. Is this an indictment of how the consumer is feeling at the moment?
Yeah, the main reason why Radiant's operating profit is down is in the first 6 months last year we had a material amount of foreign exchange gains, which you didn't realize in this 6 months.
So that was when the rand was quite weak?
Yes, so that helped us last year, the first 6 months. So this year that profit didn't come through, and that has affected us. But you can see the consumer doesn't spend as much as we would like to be. We under the budget for Radiant, so we hopefully for the next 6 months it will start improving, because we need that.
Would you expect the consumer to start getting on his feet in the next 6 months?
It depends if the economy improves. So at the moment it's still very dicey. So we hopefully that will start improving. Disposable income also hasn't increased that much, so we can see the consumer doesn't spend that much, especially on refurbishing of housing, which was a big market for us.
Well, you mentioned your margins improving from 4.5% to 7.6%. Can you build on this, or will the competition in the market mean that you have to be more aggressive with pricing going forward?
We'll have to be aggressive with pricing. Competition forces us to be aggressive, so the margins are definitely coming under pressure. But hopefully we will be able to maintain the margins at least going forward for the next 6 months.
How tied are your fortunes to the copper price?
Well, the copper price plays a material part in our business. So it depends. Our business depends a lot on the copper price. So for the first 6 months we've seen the copper price going up. That also increasing demand, because the clients are buying more. They can see what the copper price for the next months will be. So if the price going up the next month, they'd rather buy this month the next month and pay more. So if the increased copper price is positive for us on the cable side, yes.
And of course, the cable business, I'm sure, is also reliant on a pickup in construction and infrastructure spend.
Both industries relies on that. At the moment, we hasn't seen the building construction picking up. We saw a few projects completed before World Cup, which helped us. But after World Cup, sales hasn't dropped drastically in July so far, but we're positive that this year we'll have good results at the end of the year.
And of course, you say traditionally the second half of the year should be stronger than the first half of the year. Will that be the case this year, though, with the World Cup falling obviously in the first half?
We planned for that to happen. We hopefully that will happen. But all depends on the economy, and hopefully the building and construction industry can start picking up, which will be positive for us. Yeah.
Now, you also mentioned in the commentary that export sales picked up nicely in the first half, but with the rand at current levels, can you maintain the export sales at these levels?
On the cable side it's difficult, but on the lighting side we will increase our export sales, but cable side is very difficult to maintain the export market if the price goes down. Yeah.
Talk to us about the cash flow, because although profits are up nicely, cash flow is a negative 82 million rand. A large investment in working capital, you allude to that. Of course, it's positive that you are seeing increased volumes and sales levels, so should it all play out properly in the second half?
We have warned that we will spend some money on working capital during the 6 months. Normally in December our cash flow is at the best. Our stocks are low, debtors are low, so that helps us to improve our cash flow in December. So going to June, the cash flow will be under pressure. But the biggest reason for the cash flow so bad is that our major debtors paid late, 1 day late, and that has affected us. So at the moment our cash flow is much better, in a much better position than it was at the end of June.
Of course, during the period you've also been investigated by the Competition Commission. What was the result of that, Koos?
There was no further investigation at the moment, so they've just done the initial investigation and we're waiting. We will fully cooperate with them. We have got nothing to hide.
And so looking forward to the second half, it really all depends on what the economy does, what the rand does and what the copper price does, of course.
That's a mouthful, thank you very much.